4 days after. I just said to Adrian, who's on here with me, Adrian's one of our team members at the Empowerment Partnership, I said, man, this is going to be an interesting webinar because I am on the tail end of 13 days of nonstop teaching. I don't think I actually took a day off. I spent some time with my daughter. I did some coaching calls, did some conference calls. And let's just see who's on here. Aditi, you're on here. You were just at Huna. Barry, did you make it back to Perth before you jumped on this call, my man? Because I see Barry on here. That's pretty badass. Barry, if you made it all the way back to Perth only to jump on a webinar with me, that is completely insane. And I love you, buddy. Who else do we have? Oh, John Harris is on here. John, sweet, man. How are you doing? Good to see you. Unless you're a different John Harris, in which case, nice to meet you. Maria's on here. Maria was also at Huna. Yeah, I'm scrolling through this really quickly. I apologize if I don't see your name and you were just at Huna or, oh, Sachiko's on here. Sachiko, you must have made it back home. That's awesome. Just looking through this list of people. We had 874 people register for this webinar. I don't know if that's a record in-house. I think we've hit the 700s before. I'm not sure if it's because of the topic or not. Is it because of the topic, you guys? Is it because of the fact that we're talking about money over the next hour that everyone wanted to jump in and be a part of this? Who knows? It seems to be a popular topic. So I know we're going to get started. I see people are still logging in. People are jumping in. Ooh, Anna Maria made it on. Anna Maria, how's San Diego? Hope San Diego is going good. Annabelle's on here. Annabelle was just at Huna too. So yeah, see, Aviva's on here as well. Aviva was not at Huna. Aviva, I don't know why. What's up with that? And John Harris just said, I am the same John Harris. Aloha. That's awesome. Anyway, all right. I've given people enough time to log in. Probably going to have a few hundred people logging into this webinar over the next few minutes, and I want to get started. Just wrapped up an amazing workshop. We just did our 50th Huna workshop here in Kona. 25 years, twice a year. We've been running our Huna workshop, and it was an amazing group. We had a great time, some fabulous content. My uncle came in and shared some of the Hawaiian culture, and it was just all around an amazing experience. Very calm, very peaceful, wonderful field trips. First field trip of the level ones, really nice. Second one, man, we went through all of the elements. We went from everything being nice and calm to, ooh, we had a nice torrential downpour. We got cleansed. It was an awesome volcano walk. And then at the end of it, blue skies opened up right above us. So it was very beautiful. And we got to hang out with my daughter. Took her to Honau afterwards, a very sacred site. And she wanted to go. She wanted to be a part of what we did. My son got to attend. He's 15. And he got to attend the Huna workshop. And really looking forward to what he does with Huna in the future. And that's a part of my family. It's a part of what I teach. And I get a couple of weeks off, and then I go to the Merry Monarch Hula Festival. And then right after that, I think I jump on the road to head to Portland, Oregon. Going to be doing a practitioner training there in Portland. Take a week off, go to Vegas. Hey, man, when you live in paradise, where do you go on vacation? Straight to Vegas, baby. Straight to Vegas. And then I had a couple weeks off, go to Los Angeles. It's going to be amazing. So what I want to do is, in the nice, calm, centered, and balanced mood that I'm in, I want to talk about wealth. I want to talk about prosperity. I want to talk about money. And I want to impart to you some of the things that I've learned on the path. No, I'm not the richest guy on the planet. Don't want to be. I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. I think that's what it really boils down to. I want to be happy in my life, and I want to share that with you. I want to talk not about me. I want to share with you what I have discovered over the past 30 plus years in this field. What truly drives people, what helps people to become prosperous, what helps them to become wealthy. I want to share these things with you, and I don't think in an hour webinar we can fix everything. I don't think so. I think we can lay some good foundation here and some good groundwork and make it an opportunity for you guys to make a difference in your life. Because, I mean, let's face it. First of all, I just got done teaching something near and dear to my heart, a very spiritual training, a very spiritual teaching, and here I am talking about money. And some people might think that there's a conflict between the two, pardon me, but really there's no conflict. There's no conflict between living a spiritual life. Living a spiritual life means you're connected with your higher self, you're connected with higher consciousness, you're connected with a deeper aspect of who you are. Whether we like it or not, we live in a world that is, I don't want to say run by money, but how else would you put it? My kids go to school. They go to a beautiful private school here. I'm living in a nice house. I'm very happy with this house. I got a mortgage. And we can't go to the bank and say, let's meditate together. The bank requires you to pay for your mortgage. The school requires payment for the kids to go next year. I'm hopping on a flight to Portland. If my credit card doesn't go through, they're not letting me on the flight. We have to find a harmony between these two aspects. We need to find a harmony between the deeper things that we desire in life and that which is a reality, prosperity, money. Before we get started, though, I want to just go through a little bit of housekeeping, just handle a few things. First of all, if you see me looking off to the side like that, it's because I have a second monitor right there, and I can see the slide that you guys are seeing. And so I sometimes will look over there at that second monitor. So we're on Facebook, do a lot of work on Facebook. If you type in Dr. Matt, D-R-M-A-T-T, you can find my personal page. You can also find the Empowerment Partnership on there as well. And also, we have some decent domain names. We got drmatt.com. All of my social media is on there, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, Facebook, the company Facebook, what else? Google Plus. I think I'm one of 5 people on Google Plus, though. That's a joke. If you love Google Plus, it's all right. Just breathe. NLP.com, hypnosis.com, Huna.com. You must be on one of these websites, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here. But if you're not on our mailing list, make sure that you go to NLP.com or drmatt.com and sign up for our mailing list. And make sure that you get updates all the time for the stuff that we put out there. All right, that's it. Let's get started. Wealth, prosperity, money, and energy. Wealth, prosperity, money, and energy. I'll talk about the reason why energy in just a moment, but I want to talk about why wealth, why prosperity, why money, why focus on these things. The simple reason is we live in a world that requires money. If you want to come and take an upcoming training, yeah, we discount our practitioner trainings. They used to be back in 2010 $4,000 or $5,000, and we put them on Living Social now for like $194, and sometimes they discount down to $97. That's awesome. That's still money. And I know people that save up every bit of money that they have just to come to that training and attend it and get some amazing benefit from it. You want to go buy the new iPhone that comes out, money. You want to have a nicer house, money. You want to get a new car. I just had my car serviced today. I have a 4-year-old car. I keep really good care of it, had it serviced. It's out of the standard, not warranty, but I had a service contract with them. That's all done. Something was wrong with the engine. I had to pay for a part. I had to pay for parts for the car. Why money? Because for whatever reason, we have created a world in which money is a necessity. And why money? The other reason why money, beyond the excuse of I got to pay for this, I got to pay for that, put all of those aside. Money is a part of your foundation. Wealth, prosperity, and abundance is a part of your foundation. In the Hawaiian culture, if you weren't prosperous, if you were suffering, that was a clue. There was something going wrong. If you were suffering, then there's some things that you need to resolve. There's some things that you need to work on. There's only a handful of cultures that combine the idea of suffering and spirituality, meaning that there are a handful of cultures that say, if you're suffering, that's awesome. That means you're being really spiritual. In almost all of the other cultures that are out there, if you're suffering, that's a clue. That means something's going wrong. I've gotten to work with ultra successful people, people whose names are on the bottom of some of the televisions that you own. people that have availability to funds in the hundreds of millions, people that make $500,000, $1 million a year. I've also gotten to work with some wealthy people who only make $100,000 a year. Or one of my mentors, one of my teachers, Uncle George Naope, who founded almost over 40 hula festivals around the planet. And when he passed away, he had no money in his account. I consider him to be a very wealthy person. The common thread between all of these individuals is that they had a good relationship with money. They had a good relationship with wealth, prosperity, abundance, and money. They didn't see it as being evil. They didn't see it as being wrong. They saw it as an extension of life. That's why we want to talk about money. We want to talk about money not because we need it, not because we want it, because it's a part of life. It's a part of our experience of reality. It's the same thing as this desk. I'm sitting here at this desk, and this may not seem like a big deal to you guys, but this is a very important desk to me. I've never talked about this on a webinar. I don't think I've ever talked about it with any of my students. I sit here and I do all of my webinars at a desk that my grandfather gave to me. When he passed away, he insisted that this desk go to me. It was his desk. And my daughter sat at it and did tutoring and did her homework at it. And Ethan's an amazing kid. He has no connection with it. And Skylar looked at me one day and said, I want this desk to be mine, because she had done so much at it. I played Legos at this desk when I was a kid. Monopoly. I put my first computer on this desk, an Atari 400 back in the late 70s, early 80s. It was early 80s. This desk has memories for me. My grandfather took care of this desk, brought it from the East Coast, solid wood. It's got drawers off to the side. It's got drawers on the other side. It's a double-sided desk. My daughter could sit across from me. She would have her own main drawer and her own place to be. My grandfather saved up a significant amount of his income to buy this desk, and he took care of it. He worked on it. He utilized it. He kept his stamps and his envelopes right here in this drawer. I remember he'd take his envelope out and he'd write out where he's sending this check to, and I'd help him put the whole thing together. He had this rubber stamp made so that he could put the return address on his envelope. For any of you who are younger than I am on this, envelopes are the things that we send stuff out on, and that is not electronic mail. I know, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I did one time say to a group, though, I mentioned Encyclopedia Britannica, and someone in the front row raised their hand and said, what's an encyclopedia? I know. But anyway, I'm getting older now. So my grandfather sat at this desk. He worked on this desk. This was a part of his foundation. In life, when you're successful, it doesn't mean you have $1 million in the bank. It doesn't mean that you have a ton of things to your name. It means that you're able to manifest the things that you need to accomplish what you want to accomplish in your life. For those of you taking notes, I want you to write that down. Wealth, prosperity, and abundance should not be measured about how much other people have out there. It should be, are you able to create a foundation in your life? Are you able to create stability in your life to provide the money, needs, and resources so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish in life? I'm finishing up my 4th book right now. My 4th book is on mental and emotional release, a technique that I teach to help people let go of anger, sadness, fear, guilt. It takes money to pay the editor. I want to be able to do that. I wanted to become a doctor of psychology. I had to be able to manifest the money, needs, and resources. We all have our own path. That's what you've got to ask yourself. Are you, the Hawaiian word is pono, are you okay? Are you congruent with your wealth so that you can accomplish what you're meant to accomplish in this lifetime? That's a big part of what we're talking about tonight. Overview of what we're covering is really simple. NLP and Huna beliefs. Wealth is your foundation. I've already begun to talk about that. Your foundation supports other areas of your life, and it's called the lesson of mastery. So big picture, what we're covering are some of the fundamental beliefs. I'm going to go into them. I'm going to talk about the lesson of mastery versus the lesson of life. I'm going to talk about what it means to be prosperous. I'm going to share some content with you guys. I'm going to do my best to save some time at the end for questions and answer. I'll talk about what we're doing at the Empowerment Partnership to help you from a monetary perspective, because I love to do that. I love to help out. And at the end of the webinar, I got a free download for you, something that you can listen to help you out on your path, and an opportunity if you wanted to get a product to help you out, to let go of negative emotions and to really create prosperity. Totally optional. We always have something free that we give out. Love to do that. I love to give back. You guys are taking time out of your day. I'm taking time out of my day. I'm surprised my daughter hasn't come barging through the door yet going, "Daddy, are you done yet? You said you'd grill for me today." But anyway, right after this webinar, you will be getting grilling pictures on Facebook. But that's another story. Let's jump back into it. Okay, NLP, Huna, beliefs, wealth. Wealth is your foundation. This comes from Huna. You have a spiritual aspect to who you are. You have a mental aspect to who you are, an emotional and a physical. The lesson of mastery is learning how to bring energy down through your thoughts, your beliefs, through your emotions, and creating a solid foundation. Creating a physical foundation that allows you to rise back up, the lesson of life, rise back up to spirit. Rise back up and empower the emotional aspect of you, who you are, empower the mental aspect, and connect up with spirit, thus bringing down more energy, thus bringing down a greater ability to enhance your foundation. I'm going to give you a personal example of this. When I first started teaching, this was in the late 90s. I started teaching in the mid to late 90s, and I was living paycheck to paycheck. That's just where I was. You would think running the company, and with my father, who he was, yeah, I was living paycheck to paycheck. And early 2000, I'm out there teaching wealth and prosperity, and I said, I need to be prosperous. I started doing investments. I began to make money. Became wealthy to a point where I really didn't need to work as hard as I did. I started changing my mindset about everything. And I woke up one day and I said, I'm already a master trainer of NLP. I own a company that is NLP.com, hypnosis.com, Huna.com. I'm living my life's purpose. I want to become a doctor. I have a master's in business, but I want to become a doctor because I think that'll make a difference. It'll make a difference for me. It'll make a difference for my students. It's a dream. Put that goal out there. Began to do some research. It was going to cost me over 6 figures. I did not have 6 figures. My PhD ended up costing me, I think, about $120,000. I didn't have that. I wasn't sitting on that amount of cash at that time. I had just gotten out of living paycheck to paycheck. Set that goal. Started seeing clients. Started working as hard as I could and as smart as I could. Because lesson of mastery is how do you bring down the energy, get your mindset, emotions, and create the physical foundation. Physical foundation is usually in one of 3 areas. Area number 1, wealth. How much money can you generate? That creates a foundation. Area number 2, health and fitness. How healthy are you? How's your physical fitness? Area number 3 is relationships. Relationships can really impact and create, strengthen your foundation or weaken your foundation. Anyone on this call who has been in a relationship that created stress, that weakens your foundation. You're in a relationship that creates strength, that enhances your foundation. Back to money, though. I brought down enough energy, spiritual, mental, emotional, down to the physical level to create a foundation to enhance the mental aspect. Lesson of life, rising up from that foundation, using your foundation, your money needs and resources, your fitness, your relationship to rise up and improve areas like your emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. Becoming a doctor enhanced my mental, probably enhanced my emotional too. That in turn, as soon as I became a doctor, that increased what I was able to charge from a daily rate, from a consulting rate. It increased my exposure. It got me on national television shows. It helped to get my books out there. In other words, it created more energy which brings in more energy for my foundation. So don't think of the lesson of mastery and the lesson of life as this two-way street. It's a cyclical experience. The more energy you're able to bring down and strengthen your foundation, the more you are able to bring that energy up, enhance the different areas of your life, therefore bringing in more energy. The different areas of your life are really simple. So taking a look at your screen, these are the 6 big areas of life. This is the wheel of life. You have career, health and fitness, relationship. Those are the big 3 that are related to lesson of mastery. Spirituality and personal growth. Those are related more to lesson of life, enhancing your personal growth, enhancing your spirituality. You know, I looked out at the group when we started the 50th Huna workshop just 2.5 weeks ago. I looked out at the group and I said, I want you to just take a moment and be thankful. How many people on this planet would trade places with you right now to be here in Hawaii, about to take a training to help you in your spiritual path, enhance your energy? I applauded them. I said, you have brought in enough energy to create a strong foundation for you to enhance your spiritual connection. Not with me, not with the person sitting next to you, but with yourself. That's what spirituality and personal growth are, lesson of life. Where does family fit? Yeah, that's a whole nother webinar. Where does family fit? I think I one time said, family is that thing that you were thrown in this lifetime to deal with to teach you more about you. And I know, I even put in my book, you weren't thrown a family, you picked your family. Your family is definitely a part of the major lessons in life. And lesson of mastery is more career, fitness, and relationship. And lesson of life is more spirituality, personal growth, and development. All of these areas are important. The reason why I'm emphasizing this to you is because many people that I meet on my path, you know, I'm probably going to teach about 1,000 new people this year. A lot of the people that I meet, they want to enhance their personal growth. Dr. Matt, how can I become a doctor like you? How can I become spiritual like you? How can I, and then you fill in the blank, like that person over, never mind me, that person over there, that person over there. And I say to them all the time, do you have the resources to do that? And they go, what do you mean? If you want to become a doctor, you're looking at spending somewhere between $60,000 and $100,000 depending on what school you go to. No, man, I don't even make that in a year. Then your goals should not be about personal growth. It should not be about spirituality. From my heart, your goal should be about career, fitness, relationships. That strengthens your foundation. I've had people look at me and go, yeah, but you. And I go, hold on. Rewind. I'm in my 20s. I'm teaching NLP. And I looked at this wheel. I was in the middle of teaching a weekend training. I looked at this wheel and I went, God, I want to be a spiritual person. My goodness, I want to be, empowered as an individual. I got to work on my career first. I got to bring in some money. Then I need a house. I need a car. I worked on career first. Worked on fitness next. I was overweight. I look at the people that I meet in my trainings and I go, I love you dearly. I didn't work on spirituality and personal growth first. I worked on the areas that strengthened my foundation. It's okay to do that because with a strong foundation and an understanding of non-attachment, you're able to rise up. You can rise up and work on your personal growth and your spirituality. That's a simple thing right there. So first, here's what I want you to stop and think about for a moment. I want you to think about what area do you need to work on here on this slide. What area do you need to work on that's going to create the biggest impact in your life? From a foundation perspective, career, fitness, or relationships. Those are all related to lesson of mastery. They are all related to foundation. Which one is going to create the strongest? Which one is going to create the strengthening in your foundation to allow you to pursue that personal growth and spirituality? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And that's the area that you're going to want to work on. That's the area that you're going to want to focus on. Now, this webinar is about career. We can do a future webinar on relationships. We can do a future webinar on fitness, whatever you guys want. I love to do webinars based on what you guys suggest. And right now we're talking about career. We're talking about money. Two other things that people do with money. There are two essentials to money mastery. One is bringing enough money to live. That is covering your immediate costs. And the second one is getting money to work for you. You got to put the first one first. This slide is going to be really fast. So I just want to focus in on what is the difference between the two. I sometimes share the story at the practitioner training. If you heard this already, it's all right. It bears repeating. So if you heard this already, just, hang on. You'll enjoy it. Let's see. I was 28. My son was, about a year old at this point. And we hired this lady to set up a 401k for our company. God, she was gifted. She was really good at sales. And she sat me down and she said, Matt, have you thought about your future? And I said, I think as much as the next person. She said, you have a son, don't you? And I said, yes. And she said, well, how would you like to have his college paid for? Come on, those of you who've done an NLP training with me, that's a Milton model pattern. It's called a conversational postulate. Who's going to say no? Would you like to have his college paid for? No. I don't want to have his, no one's going to say no. Of course I said yes, and I smiled, and I'm like, she's pretty good. She's actually pretty good. I can hear the language pattern. She goes, if I told you that all you would have to do is put a little bit of money away every month, and you'd have $50,000 a year for his college, would you be interested? And I'm like, hell yeah. That sounds great. I mean, I'm good with numbers, and sure, talk to me about it. Oh my goodness, I was sold. She's telling me, here's how much to put away, here's how to do it. I'm already filling out paperwork. She's like, oh, and by the way, there's life insurance. And she goes, I never want to say anything bad is going to happen to your kids, but if something did, you have peace of mind. I'm like, wow, I feel really good about that. I'm like, thank you so much. She said, what happens if something happened to you? Are your kids taken care of? I'm like, no. So do you have life insurance? I'm like, no. All of a sudden, I'm filling out paperwork for me. I'm filling out paperwork for me. Here I am. I'm filling out the paperwork for universal variable life insurance for my son, for me. And I'm sitting here going, this is awesome. This is amazing. My future is taken care of. Slight problem. I was living paycheck to paycheck at the time. They automatically withdraw the money out of my checking account. I go to pay a bill, and I'm looking at my checking account, and I'm going, wait a minute. Where did that money go? Shit. I think that's my exact words, not the most spiritual words on the planet, but I think I said, oh shit. Oh man, I had to get cracking on that one. I had to start getting clients. I had to start working with smokers. I had to start, that was a year where the proverbial you-know-what hit the fan from all directions. Yeah, listen folks, this is really simple. Are you ready? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, forget the future for now. Focus on now. Learn from my mistakes and learn from the people that I've learned from. You do get to a point where you make money work for you. You do get to a point where you make your investments make money for you, where you're looking at real estate, where you're looking at these other things. If you're focusing in on how do I make it paycheck to paycheck, you want to focus in on how do you increase your immediate income. Seeing people one-on-one, those of you who have done practice, those of you who have never met me before. First of all, hi, I'm Dr. Matt. Those of you who have never met me before, I have a wide range of people on this training, on this webinar. Anna Maria, it's alphabetical. She's at the top of the list there. Prac, Master Prac, Trainer's Training, Quit Smoking in 60. She's done Huna. She's pretty much done all of my trainings plus assisted. I mean, I have someone on here that has a higher level of content or information, and then I have some people on here whose names I don't recognize, that I don't know. And so I'm teaching to all of you. So those of you who are on here and have done NLP trainings, focusing in your goals on the immediate, focusing your goals in on what are things that I can do to generate my income, letting go of your negative emotions and limiting decisions about what's going on right here in the moment. That's a huge part of the lesson of mastery, of making sure that you're focusing on the right one. Even some of my best students, they spend way too much time thinking about the future. I teach trainers every year how to go out there and teach, and some of them get done with trainers training and they're like, so when I have 500 people, you don't have 500 people in front of you. You don't. Go get 5 people in front of you first. I taught a weekend training for 3 people when I was at your stage. I taught a master practitioner with 7 people. Yeah, this summer we have 70-something people already enrolled in my master prac. You don't sit there and compare yourself to that. I know where I started. I know where I am now. That's the way that it goes. Make sure you focus your goals in the right area. Now, why master money? There's so many different reasons why you would want to master money. Examples: more money to give, be debt-free, fund your dreams, education. I've already talked about education. Have things. I got an iPhone 6, it's a 6 Plus. I'm going to get an Apple Watch when it comes out. Those are silly things. They don't mean anything to me. I'd give them up tomorrow if it meant my kid's future. My kid's education, my education, shared experiences. I have a very dear friend of mine. I don't think she's on the webinar right now. I'm just going to scroll down and look. I don't want to embarrass her too much. No, she's not on the webinar right now. There's a really dear friend of mine, and she lost her mom and lost her dad and doesn't have a lot of people in her life. And she's a student. But we got to know her a little bit better over the years. Young girl, and came and took trainings with me when she was a teenager. It was really weird, you know. I looked at her mom and I said, your daughter is a gift. And she looked at me and she said, you're going to help me look out for her, right? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. I'm going to help you look out for her. Her mom passed away shortly thereafter. And I remember those words. And I said, God, I opened up my mouth. I've been able to help her out in little ways. Trainings. I brought her over for Christmas. She didn't have anywhere else to go. It felt good to be able to do that. And those are some of my motivations. I want you to stop for a moment. I want you to think about this. How good would you feel if you were able to do the things that you dream about? Helping a family member, helping a friend out, writing a book, getting educated. Maybe you're already educated, enhancing your education, giving back to the community, giving back to someone. Imagine how good that would feel. Now stop for a moment. Think about that. Everyone take a nice deep breath in. When I stop and I think about that, that's the thing that I cling to, that drives me to do what I do. I have some people ask me, why do you do what you do? If it was all about the money, honestly, I wouldn't be doing free webinars. I'd be charging for these. I'd be charging way more for my prac trainings. Never mind the prac trainings. I'd go corporate. I have connections in the corporate level where I could get in and do some pretty big trainings. The last time I did a corporate gig, I was charging 20 grand a day. Look, money's awesome, and it's got to be about your dream. It's got to be about your desire. That's the first thing. Second thing is, guard your desire. It's not mine. It's not someone else's. I wanted to get a place in Italy. I wanted to buy a home in Italy. And when I told one of my dear friends, he looked at me and he goes like, that's stupid. That's stupid for you. I said, have you been to Italy? He goes, no. You ever plan on going? No. I said, why would you knock my dream then? Yeah, maybe I'm going for something that later on I'll change my mind about. Maybe I'll give up the house. I don't care. But right now, that's my dream. I want to fulfill on that. Listen, you guys. If you have a dream, guard it. Because that's the thing that motivates you. That's the thing that drives you. But that's the thing that keeps you going. It makes you so congruent, so focused. If you can, before you go to bed tonight, write down your dream. What is that one thing that if you were able to do that would make such a huge difference in your life, in the life of your friend and family, your loved ones, everyone around you? What's that one dream? And cling to that. It's the big part. It's a big part of money and money mastery. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. This is usually where I look out and I go, any questions? Wow, I got a few of you. Evelyn's, I thank you. Wait, I'm not going to start reading these questions here. Brian, nice guy. Brian's like, I'm a financial advisor. This is a popular subject. Nice. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. For those of you who have any questions, by the way, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, send in your questions now, because I scroll back through them, I take a look at them, send in your questions now, and that way I'll be able to take a look at them as soon as we wrap up. Okay, so where did money come from? This is a quick story, actually, in the product that is offered to you guys at the end of this webinar that you can purchase. There's a lengthy discussion. Long story short, money came from a necessity as the barter system became unsustainable. Barter system was, I have bananas in my yard. I should pick this computer up and show you guys. The bananas in my yard, I have no idea where this tree came from. My Lord, if you like bananas, these bananas put every other banana to shame. They're about this big. They're Hawaiian apple bananas, but I don't know what it is with the soil here. The bananas are like candy bars. They're like crack. I mean, good crack, not bad crack. I mean, they're just so damn good. If I wanted something from you, I could negotiate using those bananas straight up. But what if you're allergic to bananas? What if you hate bananas? I got to go find someone else that loves bananas, that wants what you have, and we got to do like a 3-way or a 4-way or a 5-way. I know Craigslist, and I know these other places are doing barters again. That's awesome. We outgrew it. We had to then get money. Now, the amazing thing about the barter system was it held you accountable. Listen carefully. Write this down for those of you taking notes. The barter system held you accountable because if you had amazing bananas and you couldn't convince someone else how good your bananas were, you wouldn't make a deal. The deal would fall through. I can go get bananas from the next door neighbor over there. No. You had to be congruent that your bananas were the best. You straight up did. If you're not congruent, you don't make the deal. You go home and you're like, I got to deal with me. Money. I didn't bring my wallet up here. Usually I'll hold up a $100 bill at this point and I'll go, money made it possible for us to do away with the barter system, but it gave us something to blame. It gave us something to look at and go, it's your fault that I don't have enough of you, or my neighbor has more of you than I do, and therefore there's not enough to go around. Money gave us something to point at. Money gave us something to blame. There's a downside to money. There really is. We come up with sayings like money is the root of all evil. That wasn't the original saying. The original saying was the love of money is the root of all evil, and I agree with that 100%. I love my kids. I don't love money. I got my car fixed today. I got it. I'm going to put it on Instagram. I got my car detailed. It's a 4-year-old BMW X5. I take really good care of it. You want to know what? I'd give that thing up tomorrow. I don't love it. It's a car. Who gives a shit? There are certain things that I love, and there are other things that you're just not attached to. Yeah, my iPhone's awesome. Those of you who know me, I love my Mac products. And something happened to it. I'll live. The love of money is the root of all evil was the original saying. You got to avoid attachment. Where we are right now is we're living in a system where people are focused in on this tangible. They have beliefs like, if my neighbor has money, then there's not enough left for me. If someone wins the lottery, then there's no more left for me. We live in a world where people think it's physical and tangible. But in actuality, money is no longer money. Money is no longer money. In the 70s when I was a kid, and money was backed by a gold standard. Gold is tangible. Gold exists. It's physical. Then money was real. Real meaning it wasn't energy. Money has become energy because money has become currency. We don't have money. We have currency. We have U.S. currency. Why is that important? I just unplugged my computer. Don't worry, you're still here. There's a current that occurs when I plug my computer in. An alternating current to be specific. Those of you who just attended Huna, that will make a lot of sense. Those of you who don't worry about it. Just energy. Connection. Energy. They use the word currency because currency implies a movement of energy. Currency can't sit around. When I was a kid, I don't remember how old I was. We were living in Hawaii Kai. We were in Huna. So I grew up in Honolulu. I grew up on Oahu. And my grandfather, I must have been about 7 or 8, took me to a savings and loan, and I opened up a passbook savings account. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, before we had computers, we had to write things on paper. Passbook savings account was you write your account down on paper. But anyway, open up a passbook savings account and you write down how much money you put in there. And I was earning 12% a year, 1% a month. Crazy, man. I'm like, wow, look how much money I'm making. I learned the value of savings. I felt it was like a rite of passage. I take my son when he's 5. We opened up a savings account. He came to live with me when he was 10. He got his first bank statement in. He's like, Dad, how much money did we put in 5 years ago? I'm like, $500, Ethan. He's like, can I go take some money out? I'm like, no, dude, that's your savings. He goes, then how come I only have $501 in my account? I sat there and I went, we put $500 in. He's made like $1.26 over the past 5 years. How can I teach my kid the importance of savings? Then I started looking over my notes of all the wealthy people that I've worked with. Then I started talking to some of these wealthy people, and I came to a simple conclusion that wasn't mine. It's what wealthy people know. Money isn't tangible. Money is energy. Money's not even money. Money is currency. You got to stop thinking about hoarding money. You can hoard bananas. You can hoard rocks. You can hoard shells or coconuts. Because there's only so many coconuts that grow up here where I live. There are only so many bananas that my tree will give. Every time you deposit money in the bank, you create more currency because the bank can lend more money. It's called fractional reserve banking. I don't want to get into that, but it's a simple concept. Money no longer is tangible. There's more money or currency in circulation than there is physical, meaning if everyone went to the bank and tried to withdraw their physical currency, there wouldn't be enough to cover it. There's more zeros in the internet than there are actual physical dollars. Why is all of this important? Let me loop back around. You've got to rethink money. You have to rethink your experience with money. Money is no longer money, it's currency. And it needs some form of movement, some type of investment that keeps things moving. Buying a house, getting rental income from it. Leasing things out. I do a stock investment. Some of you have met the guy that I learned all of this from. It's about cash flow, money coming in. We also work with Beachbody now. We set up people to be coaches with Beachbody so that they can make money talking about fitness. We have our own team of people that do this, where it's action-oriented, it's focused, it's movement of currency. And that's not what this webinar is about. Our company, the Empowerment Partnership, operates based on how the current beliefs are. So what are the current beliefs about money? First of all, there's negative beliefs about money, like money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil. Get rid of those. What are some of the empowering beliefs? This came from the people that I've worked with that are ultra successful. Number one is that the universe, your world out there, is amazingly abundant. Any belief opposite of abundance, you need to get rid of that. You've got to get rid of that belief. This is an abundant world. Every time you put $1 in the bank, you generate the ability to have the bank lend other people money, meaning you just created more currency. You just added to the overall energy. The universe will never run out of energy. The universe actually wants you to prosper. Any belief contrary to that, you've got to get rid of that one. You've got to let go of that belief. Successful people believe that success is inherent. It's the norm. Suffering is the opposite of the norm. Begin to adopt the beliefs that the universe wants you to succeed and that the universe is abundant. The next big one is that all prosperity begins with a belief. I'm a regular blogger on Psychology Today. I wrote a really good blog. I mean, I'm pretty proud of this one, where I said, everything begins in your mind. And this guy wrote back. I think he was a doctor. And he said, I can have the most empowering belief. That's not going to put $1 million in the bank. So thank you very much for your response. Here's what I'm saying. I haven't met someone who is consistently successful that believes that they're unsuccessful. Take the lottery winners out. Take the trust fund babies out of the equation. A person who is consistently successful, it begins up here. Beginning the belief up here doesn't put money in your bank, but by God, We can't be successful without that belief. Begin to work on those beliefs. Money is an abstraction. Abstraction meaning it's not tangible, it's not physical. $100 was worth so much more when I was a kid, and it was worth way more 120 years ago. The 1800s, $100? My goodness. What's $100 going to be worth in 10 years? Shit, I don't even want to think about that. But anyway, money is energy. Talked about that already. Money has no intelligence, but the intelligence that you give it. Meaning that if you think money is evil, it's going to look evil. If you think money is awesome, it's going to look awesome. Money responds to the instructions that you give it, just like energy. Energy flows where attention goes. So what's your attention? What's your focus with money? What are your beliefs with money? And then finally, money demands attention on money. What that means is you've got to let go of that last one. That last one, those of you taking notes, money demands attention on money. It simply means that my goals don't include money goals. Anytime I've ever set a goal for money, we don't make money. Anytime I've ever set a goal for money, we actually do worse. I love to set goals for abundance, wealth, and prosperity. That last bullet point you should read, focus on abundance, wealth, and prosperity. If you're taking notes, those of you listening, pay attention to this. Successful people have goals about wealth, abundance, prosperity. If I prosper, you guys are going to prosper. And if you guys prosper, I'm going to prosper. Plain and simple. That's a fundamental belief that I have, a core belief. Those are the big beliefs, the positive beliefs about money. And this came from people that I got to work with, ultra successful people. Not some idea that I came up with. I wish I could take credit for it. But nope. Discovered these as I worked with individuals who were very congruent and good with money. So what do? How do you take all of this information that I just shared with you and put it to use? Really simple. Number one, make a list of your limiting beliefs and baggage about wealth. Make a list of all of the things that are your limitations. Then what you want to do is you want to chunk up and find a theme or a pattern. For those of you who haven't done any NLP, chunking up means look at it from a meta perspective. You might find a common thread that your father taught you certain things about money and that it all relates to one belief. Maybe you see a common thread of fear, fear of failure, fear of success. You're looking for a common theme, a common thing that is occurring in your career, your wealth, your abundance, prosperity. And example, my mom created scarcity consciousness in the house. My mom didn't intend to do that. I love my mom so much. My mom, an amazing woman, single mom, raised me, worked her ass off just to make sure there was a roof over the head. She would save up her coins and her dollars to make sure that we could go out to dinner once a month. I didn't come with a silver spoon in my mouth, never claimed that. My father's parents, they were very well off, not well-to-do, but they were well off. They were comfortable. And yet there were certain things that my mom would say when I was growing up that made me realize I shouldn't ask for certain things, that it wasn't okay to have certain things. In my early and late 20s, that really contributed to me kind of pushing back on wanting to become prosperous. Oh, because if I have certain things, that makes me greedy or selfish. Those are my own labels, not my mom's. That's an example. Some of us go through that type of thing. When you find that, you have an ability to bust through it. So make a list of your limiting beliefs and baggage about wealth, chunk up, find a theme or a pattern, and that's example right there. And then what you want to do is you want to bust through the barriers. Bust through the barriers on the list. If it's baggage, you can do mental and emotional release, or ho'oku'u. Ho'oku'u is a energy-based or Huna release. Mental and emotional release is what I teach at the practitioner trainings. If you don't have that, we have a product that might be able to help you out, or you can get together with someone that maybe you know. If it's a trigger, you can use an NLP swish pattern. For those of you who don't know what a swish pattern is, again, please forgive me. I have a ton of people on this call that have NLP backgrounds, so I want to give content and information to all of you. A swish pattern is an unwanted state or behavior. Some people don't use the simplest techniques. If it's a trigger, something triggers you to feel a certain way, a swish pattern takes care of that. Next one is if it's mental, focus on an NLP reframe. Focus on reframing it, looking at it from a different perspective. How else could I look at this concept or idea in a way that's right for me? If it's a person, maybe ho'oponopono. If there's someone that has wronged you, or what if I held issues with my mom about what happened, then a Huna technique, ho'oponopono, would be extremely helpful. And if you've done all of those things, maybe you just need to go take some action and go for it. Maybe you just need to straight up grab the reins, tell that horse to giddy up and get going in your life. I've had to do that sometimes too. I've absolutely 100% had to do that. This webinar is not about the coaching program that I teach or the Beachbody stuff. I mentioned it. If you're interested, email the office. We'll give you more details about what we're doing to help people create wealth and prosperity. This webinar is about you. These are the things that you can do to bust through the barriers. So I want to wrap up. For those of you who have had no experience with this, if this is something that's inspiring to you, first and foremost, we want to give away a gift. There's going to be an email that will be sent to you. The link will expire in about a month, and it's a goal-setting MP3. It's a downloadable MP3 to help you with goal setting, to help you improve your ability to attract wealth and prosperity. If you want, for $97, our Huna Creating Prosperity and Wealth as an MP3 download, we're going to provide that for you. And hey man, if you're in Portland, if you're in Las Vegas, or you're in Los Angeles and you want to save around $4,000, come take our practitioner training. You'll get all of this plus more. After Los Angeles, I'm going on vacation. And then my next prac after that is much later. Although we do have one in Denver. Dr. John will be teaching that one. That'll be awesome too. Okay, I saved about 8 minutes. You guys know me. I love to talk, so I apologize if I ran a little bit long. Evelyn, is there feedback? There's kind of a buzzing. Evelyn, love you dearly. May have been on your end. Nope, I didn't get any text messages to say that there was any buzzing. I apologize for that. We did record it, so we'll be able to do that. How can NLP help me with wealth? Carol, I think I already answered that. That question may have come in a little bit earlier. What if you are able to obtain the money, but it seems something always comes up to put you back in the red? Ooh, Evelyn, good question. Sometimes with that one, I see move away froms. So let's talk about this briefly. People that generate wealth but then lose it, quite often the deeper pattern is they generated the wealth to try to get away from a pain. It's called a move away from. From psychology, motivation, studies in motivation and cognitive psychology. People who have a move away from, they're trying to get away from a pain, like I don't want to be poor. Their results tend to be up and down because the moment they feel like they're not going to be poor, their motivation drops off. Evelyn, what you want to do is you want to look for any move away froms. The carrot versus the stick. Are you trying to get away from some kind of pain? So, Elvie, are you really detached of all the material things? Elvie, yeah. My kids, no, I love them dearly. And when Ethan went to boarding school, I had 3 students say to me that I'm going to lose it, and I was happy for him. I'm actually okay with the kids. If this, knock on wood, if this desk disappeared tomorrow, I'll live. Yeah, I practice non-attachment, Elvie, very consistently. I appreciate you asking, and I'm just straight up answering you in a very transparent way. I'm not going to go burn this house down, but this house doesn't mean anything to me. I can create another house. I can create more wealth. I can create another training company. I can create another car. These things don't matter. Love matters. Life matters. My connection with people, that matters. These other things, they're impermanent anyway. But thank you for asking. Aditi, to clarify, currency is alternating current. Yes, it is, Aditi. Currency is alternating current, and I can talk to you more about that. You can message me. We can share that a little bit more. Alternating current meaning the more you're able to bring in, the more you're able to send out, just like an alternating current. Wayne, what's the difference between money goal and prosperity goals? Good question, Wayne. Awesome. Money goals. I have worked with people who their net worths are in the stratosphere. I mean, just wow. I met people who own multiple jets, students that have the ability to do whatever they want. People like Uncle George, who passed away with no money in their bank account and lived an amazing life. The successful people, they don't focus on money. Money is, I want $1 million in my bank. That doesn't tend to create wealth. Here's what successful people focus on, Wayne. I'm only going to use my personal example. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Sometimes I talk about students. Here's the simple one. In the 5-day practitioner training that I teach, we give so much content that usually in the beginning of day 2, I have someone come up to me and go, for $194, I didn't think I would get even half the content I got yesterday. How can you do this? And I have a simple philosophy. If I prosper my students, if I prosper them and give abundance, then abundance will come back to me. Prosperity is a two-way street. Money is gimme, gimme, gimme. Wayne, I hope that makes sense. Let me say that again. Money is how much can I accumulate. Prosperity is how can I prosper others and prosper myself. One of my students owns a biodiesel plant. He's the king of biodiesel on the East Coast. His goal isn't to make money. His goal is to make a difference on this planet. Because if he can take the waste that we use and turn it into fuel, wow, what a huge difference. And that guy prospers big time. Think about that. Anastasia. Dr. Matt, pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you too. You know, I apologize. I got well over 100 people on this webinar. I apologize. I don't start off introducing myself. I love to give as much content as possible. And if I have to start off every webinar talking about who I am, I'll get bored with it. So, Anastasia, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. If it was a Hawaiian name, my pronunciation would be phenomenal. So, Anastasia, thank you so much for being here. How do we set the mindset that attracts money? I think I just talked about that. Goal setting. The Prometheus induction, the free MP3, that's going to help out. That's going to help out a ton with mindset. So when you get that email, download it. Have an awesome time with that. Totally understand what you're saying, but what actions do we need to take? Very good question. The actions are all related to what you want to do. So when I teach goal setting, and you can go to the YouTube channel, I'm sure that on our YouTube channel there's a goal setting webinar where I talk specifically about action. Let me briefly answer it, and then you got some homework to do. Action is really simple. Action flows from your goal. So you set your goal, and here's what action I want to take. Using the concept of fitness. I wanted to get fit. I travel a lot, but I didn't want to get bulky. I didn't want to be like, you know, I'm not going to take a photo for a cover of a Men's Health magazine anytime soon. I wanted to be comfortable with myself. So I set my workups around that concept, that idea. So my action flowed from that goal. We want to help students become prosperous, so we teamed up with Beachbody and help coaches out, and they're able to make money by promoting Beachbody product. That was a specific action based on a goal that we had. So it's all based on your goals. I hope that helps out. Let me see if I can grab a couple more questions in here. Let's see. Brian, very grateful for your perspective. You're welcome. Oh, that's really sweet. It was just a really big just a really big thank you, and I'm very thankful for that. Be well. You too, Brian. I really do appreciate that very much. And let me see if I can grab one more question here. I just kind of jumped down. How do I make money as a student? Yeah, Bridget, I've been there. Graduate student, paycheck to paycheck. I get it. Here's what you got to do. Focus on the immediate. What can you do to bring in more money now to cover your expenses? Then grow that. Then get above your expenses. Then with that excess money, begin to focus on what you're going to do with that to have it make more money for you. Save up, investments. But at first, it needs to be focused in on you. Everything's got to be focused in on you and your immediate needs. Again, I love these webinars, and you know, I always like to make sure that we go the time limit that I set. We've gone an hour, and I hope that there was some valuable content in here. So just wrapping up, I know there's a ton of questions. Adrian and I will look through them and see if there are any other things in here that we can maybe use in a future webinar, talk about a little bit more there. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you guys joined up for this. It was a great opportunity to connect. And we have some sayings in Hawaii. I just wrapped up my Huna training, so I got to wrap up with that. The first one is malama pono. Malama pono means that we stand in righteousness, that we stand in our ability to be right with ourselves. And we say aloha ke akua. You got to put up a shield, put it up with love, And the last one is a hui ho. We're a group. Our paths will cross again at some point, either on Facebook, link up with me, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is. If not, I'll be seeing you on the road pretty soon. So a hui ho. Thank you all. Class dismissed. Love you all. Take care. See you again soon. Bye-bye.